I'm Timothy Luce and I am putting a USB power connection on my Kubota tractor. Let's do it. What you'll need for this project is a USB. I opted for a USB power connector instead of a cigarette lighter because that skips one additional thing I need to remember to keep on my tractor. This is like for a boat. It's waterproof. That cover seals it. So you need something like this, and ideally you're going to use a step drill, and you're going to drill a hole. In my case, it's on the left side of the steering column, and I've already fished some wires through. Make sure there's nothing behind here you're going to hit when you drill, obviously. And I've ran the wires down to the fuse block, which is right here, and I have tapped the fuse block with a handy little connector that I will share a link for. It's basically a fuse tap. It lets you plug into an existing fuse, and you then plug that existing fuse into the adapter, and you have tapped off here. And this device came with its own fusible link. So I'm going to go ahead and wire it up, and I'll be able to have a USB power adapter on my tractor when I'm cutting hay, etc. Just a tip, one thing that's easy to forget is you want to run this over your wires before you push your wires through this hole and before you connect them to the spade connectors here. So basically that means I'm going to push the wires back through, stick this on the wire, and then push the wires out the hole again before I connect. To red and negative to black. Push it through the hole I cut with a step drill. Make sure it's oriented approximately level, and I will tighten down the fastener on the next step is to connect the ground to basically anything mounted to the frame, but there happens to be an existing ground tap here, so I'm going to connect there first before I connect to power. So to do this right, I have had to trim off the existing ring terminal that came with it because the hole wasn't big enough for the existing ground bolt. So I've got a larger one here, and I'm going to crimp it onto the wire. One thing that I do whenever I'm doing crimping stuff like this is I bend the wire back on itself. I cut it a little bit longer, bend it back on itself like that, so it's a little fatter at the end, so if the wire ever pulls this way, it's pulling on more resistance. Same thing with the fusible power tap. It just slides into that hole, and I folded the wire over itself so it's a little bit more a little bit thicker on the end, which would help prevent it from pulling out against that crimp. One thing to note, I did make sure that these wires were routed in such a way where they're not going to get cut by the brake pedal, and I'm going to roll this up and tape it out of the way so it's not hanging loose. Last thing to do will be to test it after I've taped it up. Ideally, you want to tap into a circuit that your ignition switch controls so there's not a constant drain on your battery. In my case, it was this 5 amp 1 meter panel positive IG for ignition. So when the key is on, you will see this light up blue, and when the key's off, it powers down. So there you have it. That's how to hook up a USB adapter on your tractor. Thank you. Appreciate you watching. If you liked it, hit the like button or subscribe, because I do random stuff all the time. I'm probably one of the most random YouTubers you could follow. So have a good day.